Pro Football Hall of Famer who's been there and done that and knows so much from the tip of his finger than most people know in their body about football. Joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show once again on the Mercedes-Benz Van phone line is Cris Carter. How are you, Cris?
Rich, how you and your family doing?
We're better. We're good, man. We're good. How are you doing? How's your family? You're good? Everybody fine?
Good. My family's good, but I'm just going to tell you, Rich, that I've had a rough 2 weeks, man.
What's happened? What's happened in the last 2 weeks,
seriously.
Cris?
I thought battling COVID for the last 2 years, but when you look at it 2 weeks ago, Harbaugh gets his first win against Ohio State. I knew you weren't going to bring that up, but I'm that kind of guy. I would just bring it up to just get it out there.
Okay.
And then last week, my Vikings, they go and lose to the winless Lions. So I'm truly, man, every flag that I pass is at half mast.
Okay. Can I tell you about my last 2 weeks, Cris? Can I
float on? Since you haven't participated in a long time, go ahead.
No, it's okay. It's okay, Cris. I'm living in the here and now. You know, I'm trying to be present as a host, as a father, as a football fan. You know, I'm trying to. That's about being present. You know, certainly for those who you love, and I have nothing but love and affection for you. So we dropped 42 on Ohio State, which then countered by hiring a new defensive coordinator, and then having a quarterback who is one of the top.
Game, they're going to hire a new defensive coordinator, Rich.
Even if you'd beaten Michigan, that was going to happen? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, if you watch what was going on in Columbus, if you watch that run defense, the lack of responsibility.
Yeah, I did.
And our linebacker play, that has to be some of the worst linebacker play I've seen in Ohio State, man, maybe 40 years.
And then for Notre Dame, right, to lose their coach, and I do love Marcus Freeman, who comes from your neck of the woods. I know you must know Marcus well. And I had a great chat with him yesterday. But for Notre Dame to then be denied a seat at the college football playoff table because Michigan then went on and won the Big Ten championship, it's just been great. It's been really great. You know, my food tastes better. The air is cleaner. I feel like I'm sitting up straighter, right, guys? Do I feel like? Am I?
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure, definitely.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Well, the weather's not better because I'm in Southern California and I know what you're looking at.
I know.
Okay, so don't
it has been raining. It has been raining. It has been raining. Okay, so I did come on the air and say the Vikings, if we had to make the annual video about their season, the annual seasonal video, it would be called "What the Hell," you know, like so. What is happening? Like, to what do you attribute this Viking season so far going into this big Thursday nighter, Cris? What do you have for me?
Well,
on that?
for one, when you look at the roster over the last 5 or 6 years, like, this is not the most talented team that Zimmer's had there with the Vikings. And defensively, I mean, they're not nearly the type of defense that Zimmer would, put his name on. Kirk Cousins has played amazing.
He has.
The wide receivers, excuse me?
He has. He absolutely has. And Jefferson is one of the you would make a list of top 5 guys in the league. You'd have to include him. You'd have to.
Yeah, and I wasn't a huge Kirk Cousins fan. And I do realize that there's only so many real elite quarterbacks in this league. But when you get out of that group, Kirk Cousins is going to be at the top of that next group as far as guys competent week in and week out and their ability to throw the football. So also, if you look at some of their leaders and how they've attacked COVID, you knew that they were going to have a hodgepodge of guys missing games. I'm very close to that organization, and I know a lot of their leaders and their best players are not vaccinated. So it's just a matter of time before the Russian roulette where there is a bullet in the chamber and you start losing a lot of guys. So losing close games, that's not Zimmer's mantra. So that's what it's been since week number 1 when Cincy beats them late on a kick.
Do you think Zimmer's coaching for his gig right now, Cris?
I think the Will family has done a good job, but what would you say that he's done to ensure that he should continue with the program? Because he's been there long enough to have his program established. And when you look at what's going on in Green Bay, look what's going on in Chicago. We know Detroit. It's been basically the same for a long time. I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings made a move.
And and I know this is difficult to have that conversation because you're tight with the organization, and I know you don't want to be seen as speaking for it. But just in terms of watching this team and what they're missing, what do you think they are missing? What is the missing ingredient right here, Cris?
Well, we know with the injuries and everything, they just can't get to the quarterback. It's hard for them to turn the ball over. Dalvin Cook, outside of Jefferson, their best offensive player, his inability to stay on the field and be healthy because they're a different offense when he's in the lineup. And that's been off and on for the last 3 years. So those are some of the components that lead you to mediocrity in the NFL.
Well, it seems like my colleague from the NFL Network, Tom Pelissero, says that it looks like a trending for Cook to play tonight. Are you concerned about his viability to come back from what appears to be a torn labrum within 10 days? Cris?
I mean, that labrum is serious. We got a lot of guys playing with torn ones, and they're trying to make it to the offseason to get that surgery. But if you look at Dalvin, I mean, he's battled, on and off the field all season to try to stay healthy. And when you look at that injury when it happened, you thought it was far more severe than what it is. And he's going to try to get back in there. But what does that mean? I mean, how many snaps legitimately? And is he the elite player, with a partially torn labrum compared to the player that we're used to seeing?
Cris Carter here on the Rich Eisen Show. And so do you think that this is, in fact, Big Ben's final year? Or my buddy Adam Schefter reporting that he's told a bunch of people what I think all assumed based on the way that his contract was set up for this year, that this is his last year. Do you see a quarterback that is on his last year right now, Cris?
Any quarterback that has Ben's age and tenure in the league, and I don't care if you play with one franchise. I mean, New England let Tom Brady go, not after having a bad year, because they were just moving on. Eli Manning, if you look at him at the end of his career, even if Ben had a 3-year contract, his play has dictated that he's going to be moving on. You can talk about the contract, and that's just a matter of having a conversation. But his overall play, Ben Roethlisberger, is not in the top 25 quarterbacks that we have in the NFL. So why would he continue? Like, it's time to give that spot. The NFL is a young man's game. And at some point, all of us, that's the one thing we all have in common. Me and Moss used to talk about it. He'd be like, hey, man, but what you think? I said, bro, one day there's going to be a guy show up, sit in your locker, bigger, faster, and stronger than you. That's who you are. Okay? So it happens to all of us, man. It's not foreign. Joe Montana, what happened to him? Steve Young. But his play has dictated that his tenure in Pittsburgh is over. So
you literally said to DeMoss back in the day, I know you're that guy for me. You're that guy for me to sit in this locker. You're putting up a Hall of Fame career with your resume. And you say that to Randy Moss to his face. That's what you said.
Yeah, that's the reality, Rich. I mean, the people that know me and the people who are my friends, they know that Cris will tell you the truth.
Yes.
And that was my reality. It helped me throughout my career. Moss was like, what's your goal? I'm trying to play 3 or 4 more years. Go to a few more Pro Bowls, catch 80, 90, catch 10 touchdowns. Yeah. Have you dragged some of that coverage away from me? Yeah, that's what I plan on doing. But the bigger, stronger, faster is here, 1998. That's what Dennis Green, when he announced that pick, that's what that meant.
Right, and then obviously Brady's in a whole different class, I would imagine, because of how well he's playing at the age that he's playing right now, and it really is his choice. That Father Time still hasn't knocked on his door, and even Tom, it's going to. And I want to read you this quote from a Sports Illustrated piece that was put out as Tom won the Sports Person of the Year award just this week. And get your 2 cents on this. Brady talking about the challenging part of playing football for him right now. If anything, he said, I think it's the emotional aspect of football for me. When we lose, it's depressing. When we win, it's a relief. it's not like the joy, the happiness. It's a relief because when we win, sometimes just winning isn't good enough for you because you expect perfection. And when you expect perfection and it's less than perfect, you feel there's a down part to that. What do you think when you hear that from Tom Brady?
Well, Rich, I've been very fortunate to be around Tom his whole career. And there's certain things that elite people in any field, and Tom is the one in our field, that we can say, like I've been associated with the league since the mid-'80s. I don't know how Tom is feeling. No player in history has won as much as him. No player in history turned around a franchise like he did New England and then have the best coach in football give up on him. Before, I know Father Time knocked on the door in New England, but Tom told him it's the wrong address. You have to come check me out in Tampa, man, because I'm getting ready to go there. So I do understand the relief from the expectations, but it's the preparation that typically gets the older players. It's how do I sit in these meetings 5 or 6 hours a day with these 20-year-olds, and they're talking about things that are irrelevant. How do I stay focused? The games are easy. It's the other 6 days and harnessing those emotions that it takes to be able to play at an elite level and do it consistently for a long time. And Tom Brady, he is the poster boy for that.
Yeah, and to me, when I saw that quote, I was saying that sounds like a coach, right? Like you've been around coaches that were at the end of long runs and
Bill Parcells. That sounds like him, his Hall of Fame speech.
Right, like it. I heard it from Jim Mora once told me. Vermeil told me, and I hope Vermeil gets to be in that bust gallery with you this year. He deserves it. That he told me that the losses and the depression from the losses lasted way longer than any of the excitement over a win. And then you hear that the winningest guy in the history of winning, and we assume that's why he still does it because he can win and he loves the competition and he loves being around the guys and he just loves all of it. That the wins are a relief. I thought to myself, wow, okay, maybe he really is at the end. Because I believe he can play till 50 if he wants. The question is the challenge. And the challenge isn't the physical aspect. It's the mental is what we're just hearing from that. That's what I took from it, There
are challenges. The biggest challenge is mentally. But don't think that the physical part is not. Football is a physical game.
Right.
And if you could see even StatBat had Tom running at the fastest speed he's ever run at in the game, still every play, his career is in jeopardy. So there's anxiety. Like he's just not out there playing checkers, man. No, there's an opportunity that he can get hurt. So the physical is always there.
Right.
It's always there, even though they try to legislate hitting out of it. But no, every week a guy is trying to make his career by clocking Tom Brady. Knock Tom Brady out the game every week for over 20 years. That's a lot of physical pressure.
Which lends to the mental pressure as well. I mean, and again, I'm fascinated the way that this is playing out the rest of the season with the Bucs. Rodgers is pushing 40. He just turned 38 this week, and it could be down to those two guys. And then there's Kyler Murray running like a deer the way that he is. I've got Stafford on later on. Who do you think is at the top of this NFC roost when it's all said and done as we get set for the Vikings hosting the Steelers tonight to kick off Week 14? Chris?
I know they haven't done it, but I'm going to give the Arizona Cardinals a chance because they present a number of problems for you offensively, and it starts with that quarterback. They run a number of sets that you're going to have linebackers, and you're going to have safeties or nickelbacks matched up on guys that they have them in a specific role, and Kingsbury's done a great job there. So I'm looking for Arizona. I think everyone right now is like, Tampa Bay and Tom and Green Bay if they get home field advantage. But if Arizona gets that number one seed and what they can do to stress out Tampa Bay's defense with their lack of depth as far as secondary, and Green Bay, what they can do with Green Bay, I'm going with the Cardinals with a slight edge over those other teams.
How about that? All right. How's your wide receiver one, your WR1 pod treating you? How's that going for you?
Everybody's doing good. It's doing good, man. It was doing good. You talk to a lot of guys. Of course, wide receivers are easy to chat it up.
Of course they are.
The first year of doing it was very, very rewarding.
Outstanding. So you said you're here in Southern California. That means you're here all month, right, Cris?
No, I'm just dropping in. I come in every 2 or 3 weeks and everything.
Okay, that's perfect. So if it's 2 or 3 weeks, that means you're back here for the Rose Bowl, right? That's what you're going to be here for the Rose Bowl? You coming here?
I'm back here around. I'm probably going to go watch Michigan on New Year's Eve.
Oh.
In Miami. You know that's where I reside.
No. Yeah, but Ohio State's coming here. It's a big game against Utah. Huge. I mean, you're not going to be here to watch Ohio State try to knock off Utah, Cris? No?
Hey, Rich.
Yeah.
Hey, Rich, stop. Stop. Okay, I said I'm going to the Michigan game. Okay.
Well, I mean that's where
to the Michigan game in Miami.
That's because the winner goes on to play for it all. I mean, this is huge stakes in that game. But out here, there's a big Buckeyes Utes game that needs you to be here for it, Cris. Right?
Let me tell you something. You better be concerned about that front seven of Georgia, boy. They got some grown men.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you over the checks that I'm writing right now.
I'm so glad that you're back in the rivalry.
You saw that. You did see that Leo DiCaprio raising the champagne glass at you, GIF, that I tweeted at you, right? You did see that.
Oh, of course.
Okay,
man.
good.
Booger he tried to send an all-points bulletin telling people to look for me. But I don't know. Wait, bro. Somewhere along the way, Booger thinks we're closer than what we are. And that's why I sent the clown face. Now, Rich, the classy, oh man, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You cut me with a razor blade. Dude tried to hit me with the machete. I can respect that, Rich.
Great to see you, Cris, and chat with you. You be well. You take care.
Pleasure, man. Happy holidays to you and your family.
Right back at you. That's Cris Carter, everybody. He's going to be at the National Championship semifinal game where Michigan's at. And I'll be out here in Los Angeles welcoming in all the Buckeye faithful to the big game against the Utes that Ohio State is circling right now on their calendar because that's what it's all about. Hashtag beat Utah for Ohio State.
I love at the beginning, Cris was like, I know you won't bring this up. And I was thinking, no, Cris. He's
dying to bring it up.
I was just trying to be a professional
I
off
understand.
the top.
But Cris is like, I'll bring it. No, Cris.
All he wants to do is bring it up.
All right. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.